So I know a lot of you guys are Tedeschi Trucks fans, and you know that they recently released a live record of them covering the entire Layla album with Trey Anastasio and Doyle Bramhall II hopping on a couple tunes. Now one of my favorite songs on that original Derek and The Dominos record was I Am Yours. And I think that Derek and company just did a tremendous job covering that tune. So I kind of wanted to go through it and talk about, how to approach it, because there are a lot of changes in that song. And, some of the chords are also non-diatonic, which gives a lot of room for really creative ideas. So let's get into it now. So I mentioned that the changes in this tune are non-diatonic. So let's just lay some of the groundwork so we can understand what that means later. So this song is in the key of C. Now, if I wanted to build out chords only using the notes of the C major scale, I can build triads in the following way. Right? 3-note chords in the following way. I can have C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then back to C. So let's first talk about some of the slide stuff that's going on in the intro. Let's listen. Alright, so it's starting on C major, all C major, still C. So then, right at the end there, it goes to E major. When we were building out chords just using the C major scale, we built E minor. And now, in this tune, we're playing E major, right? So that is what makes these changes non-diatonic. So I don't want to get too bogged down on theory because that's not the point of this channel. I want to talk more about the slide stuff. So let's go through that all over C major, right? So let's just go through that. Right? I find it really useful to sing phrases before I try to play them. In most cases, if I can sing it, I can play it eventually. So what's going on there? Right, that's just 1 on the middle E, major 3rd on the G sharp, 3, 4, 5 on the G sharp, 1, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, right? So you're sliding off that 3. I think you shouldn't worry so much about how exactly you're getting back to the 1 from the 3, right? I can do it that way. I can do it that way. I can do it that way. If you worry less about how you get back to the 1, it'll probably be cooler rather than if you're worried about hitting 3, 2, 1. So that's the first thing to note. And the second time around, he just kind of repeats the phrase. So all the 2 together. So the second time around, when he's coming down from the 5, we'll just do 5, 3, 1, right? And then, oh, we haven't gotten there yet, so let's listen. Ooh, okay, so that's a little, that perks your ears up. So what's going on there? Right? So, what did I just say about what chord we're playing there, right? We're playing E major. And the interesting thing is that when we're playing that, it's lining up with the E major chord. And what this note is, it's the major third of the E major chord, right? Normally, in a diatonic sense, this would be the minor third, but now we get all that tension from the major third of the E minor. But I prefer to think about it in the context of C major. Like what note is this in the context of C major, rather than saying it's the major third of E major, because it's just easier to talk in terms of one scale than thinking about C and E. So 6 and then flat 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 6, sharp 5, and that's great. That's coming from the E major chord that it's being played over. That's being played under. So I'm going to play these 3 phrases and see if you can hear the implied change, right? So let's do it. 2, 3, 4, 1. Right, super cool, right? So that's the intro, and the thing to note is that E major chord, right? So let's move on to the verses and talk about what's going on there. So let's listen to and talk about the first part of the verse. So here we go. Let's back it up. Right? Wow, that's so great. So that's I am yours. So I guess you can think of this as being an A minor, but for consistency, let's talk about it in C, and I think of it in C major. So we're starting on the A minor chord, right? But we're starting on 6 of C major. Major 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, major 7, 1, 1. So it's really just straight up the major scale, starting on the 6 and ending on the C, or the 1. So it seems like that's the first part. I is over A minor, M also over A minor, and then I can't make the reach, but yours is over C minor as well. And then I could be wrong, but it kind of sounds like to me that this is going up the scale and the organ is playing in thirds. Again, I could be wrong, but this is what I'm hearing. I am yours, however distant you may be. So that's what I'm hearing as far as what's going on harmonically, if you want to say. But the slide part, it's just going up the scale, starting on the 6. And then it comes back down and lands on the A, right? So that's really cool. So the second part of the chorus is where we start to hear all these changes, right? So So let's go through that now. I think I may have been referring to this verse as the chorus. This is actually the verse. So let's listen through the second part of the verse, break down some of the chords, and then talk about what is going on with the slide. So. Beautiful, man. It's crazy. It's so good. So let's go through the whole thing slowly. So we have. Sings no bird, but calls your name to be. Is a part of me. And then it goes back into again, so I'm really thinking about this when I solo. I'm thinking about still in the key of C. Although there could be an argument made that it may be better to think in A minor, but I still prefer staying in C. Just one key the whole song because it works for me. So let's go through some of these slide parts. Right. Same thing right there. That's just 2, 1, 5. Right? And that part's being played over the F major. F major 7. There sings no bird that calls your name to me. Right, what's going on there? Sliding back from 4. 1, 3. Same thing. 5. So slowly. Really cool. Let's listen back one more time. So that is just 4, 3, 2, 1 down the scale, doing those little trills in between. And then 1, 2, 3, 2 on the G sharp string, right? So more really cool stuff. Right here. Right, so over that E chord. So, what actually, if we're thinking, just for a quick second, let's think of what's going on in the key of E. So if we're in the key of E, that's 4, 3, 1. Using 1, 3, and 1 major third and 4. So this E major is really dissonant. So in this case, I like to think of when I'm playing over it, I'll think in terms of E major, right? And then it's just over that change, and then my mind will go back to C. But if you want to think of it in terms of the key of C, like what I'm playing here, you can think of it as 5 flat 5 2. And again, one thing too is that slide back from 5 to flat 5, right? That's what makes it kind of have that really cool sound. So let's keep going, and then I kind of want to skip through to the solo here and kind of talk about some of the ideas and how you can solo over it. What I've found with songs that have a lot of changes is that your playing will sound more intentional if you play melodically to the changes that are happening. And that doesn't mean chord tone soloing. It means you know what chord, you're showing the audience, you're showing the listener that you know what chord is currently being played. So let's talk about that now. So let's break down that first lick. So let's look at the overlap between this lick and the chords. Right, one more time. So D7 here. Right? F major 7. C. Then A minor. So look at where he's landing. He's landing on that A minor, right? Over the D7 and the F major, you can think just C major, but I think it's important. What makes the solo sound intentional is, or this part of the solo sound intentional, is landing on that A minor, right? So this is all C stuff. Then, so he's landing on an A up here, while the chord underneath him is an A minor. Right? So that makes it sound really intentional. So let's keep moving. So, again, what's going on here? D minor. All these chords are all diatonic to C, right? So he's doing something like that, right? I can hear he's throwing in the major 7, and this is cool, right? If you think about this in terms of the chords, the major 7 of C major, of the C major scale, is the major 3rd of the G major scale, right? And major 3rd always sounds beautiful in these major contexts. So over this G chord, the major 7 is going to sound really nice. One more time, let's just listen. So D minor here, right there. G and then C, and then he's doing that ba-na-na-na-na, which is right, so it's that G, something like these kind of C major licks, right? Because all these chords are diatonic to C. So, one more time. Now notice he doesn't play with the changes here. He kind of just uses this over the E at the end of this phrase. This is where it goes B, E, right? So I'll call it out one more time just to be clear. D minor, G, C, B, E, right? See how he takes space there? Right? He's not playing over that part of the change. So, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It was just a choice he made, which is good. Another thing with these songs that have a lot of changes is it's probably best to let them breathe because the chords are speaking for themselves. Right? If you're playing too much, it's easy to overplay a song with a lot of changes. So let's keep going here. Alright, so D minor here. G, C major stuff, C, A minor. All that beautiful C major stuff will work over those chords because they're diatonic to the key of C, or in the key of C. So let's go over some of those licks. That's the first one, right? 4, 3, slide into 2, trill, wide trill, so you're hitting the third down to 1. And then, right? That's what it sounds like to me. It's 5, 6, 5, 2 to 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3 on the G sharp, 5 on the G sharp, 1 on the E. So let's one more time. Let's listen. Right. Right, and then he goes, So that's a cool one, right? So let's just slow one more time. That's tough, man. And then he goes, we'll listen. So what is going on there? Trill from 3, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. That's tough. Because it's trilling back to 3 and then also trilling through 2 and then down to 1. So, and then it sounds like just major third, 2, 1 kind of stuff. Let's listen one more time. So, one thing to note too, when he's doing that, that's over the D major 7, or D7 chord, right? So, let's keep rolling. C major. Right, so then it's something like, again, we've seen this like 1,000 times. Something like 5, 6, then trill from 2 to 1, right? So, and then over the E, he's doing the I, and then back into the I am yours part. So, like really interesting stuff. So I'm gonna lay down my own solo and talk about what I'm thinking as far as what to play over what chords, what notes to target. So let's do that now. So let's talk through that solo a little bit. Again, I'm targeting notes based on the changes that are happening. I'm always thinking in C major. I'm never thinking of changing scales other than playing over that E. But I'm thinking of targeting chords or targeting notes based on the chords that are playing under me. So let's go through this. F major 7, right? So there, I think the important thing to note is I'm doing the same thing as Derek, and I'm targeting that A at the end. So we go from D to 7, then F major 7, and I'm really targeting that major 7 of C, but I'm also looking to land on A when that A minor chord happens, right? So, and that makes the playing, that makes the melodic choices sound a lot more intentional. So let's keep listening. And D. So the next chord is D. Notice I go right to that D note to match the chord, to kind of tell the audience that I know I'm following the changes in my head. I'm not just kind of noodling. I'm following the chords. So let's G, B, E there. So from in between the D minor and the B minor, the B in the bass, and then the E, it's all chords that are diatonic to C, right? So I'm thinking just straight up C major, really nice lines, throwing in the major 7 because I know the G chord is there. All that really nice stuff. And what I'm targeting, I'm waiting for that E major to come. So then I'm going to make sure that I state that change. Right. So then, let's see what happens next. E major. So all that stuff, all the chords there are diatonic to C. So we have the G, C, A minor. So you can do all that beautiful C major stuff that, you know. Right, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. I know all those chords are diatonic to C, so let's just play some, you know, very pretty vocal lines in the key of C. And one major thing that I'm targeting at the end there is I want to land on that A note, because the chord at the end of that phrase is A minor. Right? If I land on the A, it'll show that I'm being intentional. I'm thinking about the change coming before it comes, and when it comes, I'm matching it by playing the A. So let's listen to that again, just so you have an idea. Back it up a little more. All C major. So then there, we're doing a D major, which isn't diatonic to C, but I kind of just think of it as kind of a passing chord, passing color to G major, which is the chord after that. So you can really think of just playing pretty C major stuff still, right? it kind of works. And this is more a trial and error thing. The more I played with this, the more I understood, okay, over that D7, or that D, over that D major chord, I can still play the pretty C major stuff, right? So, and then the key thing is coming back down to play the tag. So to play the chords with the solo, you know, it's right. So with those chords, C major still, C major still, C major, then the tag. So again, soloing over a song like this with a lot of changes, it's really important to play as if you know what the changes are, right? It seems obvious, but when you don't do that, it turns into just noodling. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. You know, you can just target one note that corresponds to the chord at the end of the phrase. And so this is a great song to practice this type of approach of soloing. And I think that's all I want to cover for this video. So if you did enjoy it, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much.